Okay, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harokakwadash, double honor to the Apostle of the Great Millstone, and shout out to all the Akim pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Alright, so I'm going to read this article, and it talks about how there's plastic inside the Mariana Trenches. This article was posted on the 27th of February, so I'm going to go ahead and read the header. It says, a troubling discovery in the deepest ocean, trenches. In the Mariana Trench, the lowest point in any ocean, every tiny animal tested had plastic pollution hiding in its guts. And the header already says it right there. It says every tiny animal, not just some of them. All of these small crustaceans that are what it says the lowest point in any ocean has plastic in it. That's because the red Hebrew Edomite, he invented plastic so he can pollute the world. Real quick, this is a precept. This is Matthew 24 and 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Because right now, the red Hebrew Edomite is ruining the world, and he's just pushing out nothing but death. And plastic is one of those things that he's pushing that with. Go ahead. I'm gonna pull this thing on the plastic Wikipedia. Alright, so I'm just gonna read this part right here. It says bisphenol A BPA. Some polymers may also decompose into monomers or other toxic substances when heated. In 2011, it was reported that almost all plastic products, it says almost all plastic products, but really it's all of them, sampled released a chemical with estrogenic activity, although the researchers identified plastic which did not leach chemicals with estrogenic activity. The primary building block of polycarbonates, bisphenol A BPA, is an estrogen-like endocrine disturber that may leach into food. So the red Hebrew Edomite, he so-called made plastic so he can benefit the world, make it so it's easier to transport foods and waters. And when in reality, that's far from what his objective was, to make plastic. Because he was fulfilling this prophecy that except those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. Because if the red Hebrew Edomite was to continue to reign, there'd be plastic all over and everything would be dead. Because I'm going to show some pictures of certain crustaceans. It's like once they ingest this plastic, it's in them. Like they can't really take it out of their body because their bodies aren't meant to digest plastic. Because really, the Heavenly Father, He created. Now, see, here's the because it's the Wikipedia for glass, and it says right here is the chemical compound silicon dioxide, or quartz, is the primary constituent of sand. So the Heavenly Father, He put silicon dioxide on the earth so that we can use it and we can shape it and morph it. So like here we have a soda lime glass. You can store whatever you want to store in this, because you don't need plastic. Plastic is actually very harmful to the world. This right here, let's say you don't want to use this anymore. Well, you would just have to grind it up and throw it into the ocean, and it would go back to where it belonged, where it came from. It's 100% biodegradable, unlike plastic. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and read the article. It says, Alan Jameson remembers seeing it for the first time. A small black fiber floating in a tube of liquid. It resembled a hair, but when Jameson examined it under a microscope, he realized that the fiber was clearly synthetic, a piece of plastic, and worryingly, his student Lauren Brooks had pulled it from the gut of a small crustacean living in one of the deepest parts of the ocean. Because the red Hebrew Edomite, he's spreading his wickedness as far as he can. And it says right here, the lowest point in any ocean, which is the Mariana Trench. Even there's plastic. Alright, so I'm just going to jump around this article. So this guy, he was comparing, these crustaceans from other parts of the world. And it says right here, but a few years ago, almost on a whim, he decided to analyze their body for toxic human-made pollutants, such as PCBs or plastic. I'm going to read this paragraph. It says, the world produces an estimated 10 tons of plastic a second. And, the world does not need 10 tons of plastic a second. Because the main reason it says right here the world produces is because the red Hebrew Edomite is in charge of the world. So, you probably have some Moabites have over at the plastic factories, but the only reason that they're doing that is because the red Hebrew Edomite made it so that they're doing that. And it says right here, and between 5 million and 14 million tons swept into the ocean every year. Some of that debris washes up on beaches, even on the world's most isolated islands. About 5 trillion pieces currently float in surface waters, mostly in the form of tiny, easy-to-swallow fragments that have ended up in the gut of albatrosses, sea turtles, plankton, fish, and whales. But those pieces also sink snowing into the deep sea and upon the amphipods that live there. So this person basically says, in the 6.8-mile deep Mariana Trench, the lowest point in any ocean, all of the specimens had plastic in their gut. And it says right here, in italic, all of the specimens had plastic in their gut. There's some pictures of the plastic. Because one thing when the red Hebrew Edomite invented plastic, and then he started, presenting it to everybody, like he was selling it to them. He was making it seem that like plastic was a more better thing to use other than glass, because like if you drop a glass bottle, it'll break, but if you drop a plastic bottle, it won't break. And it's like what's the word like it doesn't break down. It's actually that's false, because water breaks down everything. So I'm not gonna read this article, but it's just a bunch of pictures of litter that's in the ocean. Because I had seen this article, a few years ago, and the thing that really stuck to me, it really like made me think about this, is obviously is a battery. That thing's got chemicals in it. Yeah, it says right here, in addition to choking and suffocating creatures, some trash contaminate the deep sea with caustic chemicals. Yeah, so here's the picture. It says, have a seat. A plastic chair sits ominously on the sea floor. So there's a plastic lawn chair deep in the ocean, and so when the water is doing its thing, it's moving through the course of the ocean, it's gonna pick up and grab onto that plastic, and it's gonna deteriorate it. And here's a picture right here. Like all these bits and pieces are like pieces of plastic. Like these blue pieces are probably from this chair right here, because the water does its thing. It cuts into the plastic, and then it pulls it, and then it just keeps going. And then this picture right here, I don't know what this is exactly, but it's probably a crustacean, because the crustaceans, they're put down there in the ocean for a specific reason, because it's a circle of life. They eat the smaller things so the bigger things can eat them. But then when they look at these little bits of plastic that are snowing down from the shores, like it eats it and it can't digest it, because right here you see in its tail, there's just a whole bunch of plastic. So this thing's pretty much got plastic cancer. In this article, it's claiming that every specimen that they were tested, like they would go there to the place, and they would get some crustacean, and every crustacean that they had plastic inside of it. And I think that's pretty much it on this article. I'm gonna skim through it real quick. Well, this is explaining what I just said. Food is scarce in the deep, so amphipods can't afford to be fussy. They'll eat pretty much anything. Yeah, because like the things down on the sea floor, that's how the Heavenly Father programmed to live. They see a little speck of food, they'll eat it. It says they'll eat pretty much anything, which makes them particularly vulnerable to plastics. And since they sit at the bottom of the trench food webs, their Catholic appetite can doom their ecosystem. They're like bags of peanuts, Jameson says. Everything else eats amphipods, shrimp, fish, and they'll end up consuming plastic too. So let's say you got a big fish. This big fish isn't going to eat, bits and specks of plastic. Well, it eats something that eats plastic. So pretty much everything has plastic in the oceans. Yeah, it's pretty much on this article. Because this team of scientists, they went and they found plastic in every one of their specimens. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and read these precepts. I'm gonna read this in Matthew 24 and 22. Except those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. And right now, it's looking like there's no flesh that's gonna make it. But luckily, we know the end of this. The prophecies are gonna come, and those thermonuclear missiles are gonna actually cleanse the world, because there's not gonna be plastic in the kingdom. All right, so this is Isaiah 24 and 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languished and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broke the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Yeah, because out of all the nations who had a hand in ruling the world in the ancient world, like right now it's Esau's reign, and he's just doing everything to blow up the world. I mean, he's making those thermonuclear missiles for himself. All right, so this is Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely the oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Actually, is going back here to where it says, the haughty people of the earth do languish, because if the food is poisoned, then the people are poisoned. Like I said, like everything in the ocean's got plastic in it, because the crustacean have plastic. That means everything has plastic, and it's a really oppressive thing to go through, because like everything in the world, it's not just the oceans that's polluted, because like the air is polluted. The animals are polluted. They're all defiled. All right, so this is Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say to him that made it, He made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, He had no understanding? Because this is going into the red Hebrew Edomite was actually made to do this. Like he was made to not use glass. He was made to use plastic. Because right now he's in control, and he's just doing everything that goes against life. Alright, so this is 2nd Ezra 15:6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. And right now we're going through like it's 2019 as Esau's reign, and you can see like he doesn't got a lot of time to to have fun in this world that he's created for himself. And so it's just wicked all over. Probably like 50 years ago, there wasn't as much plastic as there is now, because right now they're pumping out tons of plastic out of those factories. Alright, so I'm going to continue reading. This is verse 7. Therefore saith the Lord Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, because his time is almost at an end. Neither will I suffer them in those things, in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Yeah, and so the pollution of the world, like it really vexes like righteous people, because like let's say you go to the zoo, you're gonna be vexed because like spiritually you're gonna go there and you're gonna see the animals are suffering, because the red Hebrew Edomite, he can't do anything right. Okay, so this is Matthew 7:18. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. And just how I said, the red Hebrew Edomite was created to make plastic. He's not gonna like stop making plastic and change his ways, because he's destined for destruction. He's playing his part very good, actually. I'll give him props for that. Yeah, because there's one thing too, like this plastic chair, like, where you can make a chair out of wood. No, but the red Hebrew Edomite, he does everything backwards. He does everything topsy turvy. That's ultimately why he's gonna get destroyed, because he's defiled the whole land, and he's made, specifically the Hebrew Israelites to go through this, and that's oppression. Alright, so hopefully this video is edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Harakal Kadash, and Shalom Akim.